Welcome to Breaking Frontiers. Imagine this. You walk into a room and everyone can't help but notice you. Your presence alone sends a wave of energy, drawing people in, especially the man of your dreams. What makes you so irresistible? What qualities do you embody that make him truly obsessed with you? In today's video, we'll uncover 7 irresistible qualities that make men genuinely attracted, not just physically, but on a much deeper emotional and psychological level. If you're ready to become the kind of woman that commands attention, keep watching. You're about to learn the secrets to captivating any man's heart. To truly understand the power of emotional depth in relationships, we first need to delve into the fundamental nature of human connection. It's easy to get caught up in the surface level aspects of attraction, physical appearance, shared interests, or social status. But the core of what makes a relationship lasting and profound lies in the emotional realm. Men, like all people, crave deep connections, yet many often struggle to express the need for this. They want more than a companion to pass the time with. They seek a partner who will challenge them, help them grow, and most importantly, understand them at a level that goes beyond what they can articulate themselves. When a woman possesses emotional depth, she taps into the very essence of what it means to connect with another human being. Emotional intelligence, being able to identify, understand, and manage both your own emotions and those of others, is something most people overlook. It's not about offering empty sympathy or trying to solve every problem, but rather being present in the moment, truly listening, and offering emotional support in a way that validates another's experience. Men often don't need solutions. They need someone who can hear them, who can validate their feelings and acknowledge the difficulty of their struggles. Emotional depth means recognizing that in a relationship, both partners are simultaneously working through their own struggles, often silently, while also trying to hold space for each other's vulnerability. This kind of connection is built on the acknowledgement that emotions are not just something to be fixed, but something to be shared, explored, and understood. Think about the most profound relationships you've witnessed, whether in your own life or those of others. What stands out? It's not just the laughter, the good times, or the adventures. It's those moments when silence speaks louder than words. It's when two people can simply be present with each other, and in that presence, an understanding is formed that words could never fully capture. That's the power of emotional depth. It's that deep well of understanding that doesn't need to be constantly verbalized, but is always there, subtly binding you together. For men, emotional depth in a woman is incredibly attractive because it provides a sense of security and trust. In a world where vulnerability is often seen as a weakness, men are conditioned to bottle up their emotions, to push through adversity without expressing what they truly feel. The problem with this is that it leads to isolation and stagnation. A woman who possesses emotional depth creates an environment where he can let down his guard. She offers a safe space for him to express his fears, frustrations, anxieties without judgment. This act of emotional vulnerability, of sharing one's deepest fears, dreams, and weaknesses, is what builds trust. It's not about being perfect or never experiencing pain, but about creating a dynamic where both partners can share in their struggles and strengths equally. But this level of connection is not something that can be rushed or forced. Emotional depth isn't something that you can simply decide to have. It comes from a lifetime of experience, introspection, and an open-hearted approach to understanding others. It's the ability to hold space for someone else's pain and joy without immediately trying to fix it or deflect it. It's understanding that sometimes the most profound way to support someone is by simply being there, being real with your emotions, and offering empathy. In relationships, particularly in those that have the potential to become lasting and meaningful, emotional depth requires two things. vulnerability, and patience. Men, despite their external appearance of strength and independence, also crave this vulnerability. It allows them to feel seen, to feel heard, and to feel accepted for who they truly are. They don't want to be loved for an image, for what society tells them they should be, but for their truest selves, flaws, imperfections, and all. And that's where emotional depth becomes so powerful. It's an invitation to explore those deeper aspects of the self, those parts that are often hidden beneath the surface because they're too difficult to confront or too painful to reveal. When you, as a woman, are able to meet a man in this emotional space, to stand with him as he uncovers his fears, his frustrations, and his vulnerabilities, you begin to form a bond that cannot be easily broken. It's a bond that transcends superficiality. It's not about how attractive you are, how successful you are, or how much you have in common. It's about being real with each other, standing in the face of life's difficulties together and supporting each other through the ups and downs that come with living authentically. The truth is, men are looking for something more than just a partner to share their time with. They are looking for someone who can understand them, someone who will be their confidant, someone who can challenge them to be better while accepting them as they are. That is the power of emotional depth. It's the difference between a relationship that is built on fleeting attraction and one that is grounded in a deep, meaningful connection that withstands the test of time. But of course, emotional depth isn't one-sided. It's a mutual exchange, a dance, where both partners share their vulnerabilities and emotions in a way that builds a deeper understanding of each other. This creates an atmosphere of trust where each person feels free to express themselves without fear of judgment. When a woman demonstrates emotional depth, she not only opens the door for herself to be seen in her full complexity, but she also creates space for the man to do the same. The result is a relationship where both individuals grow, both challenge each other, and both feel deeply understood and valued for who they truly are. Men are drawn to this kind of emotional intimacy, this depth of understanding. They seek relationships that nourish their emotional and intellectual growth. Emotional depth is the foundation of this kind of relationship. It's about connecting beyond the surface, finding ways to truly understand and appreciate each other on a much deeper level. It's about being present, being vulnerable, and building trust in a way that creates a relationship worth fighting for. Self-confidence in its truest form is not the loud, brash assertion of superiority that many people mistakenly associate with confidence. It's not the bold, overbearing personality that demands attention in every room. Rather, it is the quiet inner strength that radiates from someone who is secure in themselves and knows their worth, irrespective of external validation. This kind of self-confidence is deeply rooted in the understanding that your value does not depend on what others think of you, but rather on your own sense of integrity, purpose, and self-respect. When a woman possesses this type of self-confidence, it's immediately apparent. There's a subtle yet undeniable energy that comes with it, an energy that can't be faked. It's the calm assurance of someone who knows who they are and doesn't need to prove it to anyone. This self-assuredness isn't born from arrogance or pride. It's born from self-acceptance, from a willingness to face the world as it is and take responsibility for one's own life. And it's this kind of inner strength that makes a woman incredibly attractive, not just to men, but to everyone who encounters her. What makes this kind of self-confidence so captivating is that it has nothing to prove. It's not about constantly seeking approval or validation from others, but about having the courage to be true to yourself, even when it's uncomfortable or unpopular. When a woman knows her own worth, she doesn't need to seek out the approval of others because she has already found it within herself. She's comfortable in her own skin, even if she isn't perfect, even if she's still growing, even if there are areas of her life that are works in progress. The key here is that she doesn't allow her perceived imperfections to diminish her sense of self. She embraces them as part of her humanity and continues to move forward, knowing that her value remains unchanged. This is an incredibly attractive quality because it signals to others that she is not a person who will shrink away or be swayed by the opinions of others. There is a certain magnetic pull that comes with this strength. People are naturally drawn to those who carry themselves with dignity and respect. But it's not just the outer projection of confidence that matters. It's the inner workings of the mind that truly set this woman apart. Self confidence comes from understanding one's capabilities and limitations, from taking stock of one's strengths and weaknesses, and from having the courage to pursue one's goals despite obstacles. For men, this kind of self confidence is irresistible because it speaks to something much deeper within them. Men, too, are often burdened by expectations of strength, of success, of never showing vulnerability. But when a woman displays confidence without arrogance, she becomes a model of balance. She challenges the man to be better, not by criticizing him or demanding more, but by simply existing as a person who is independent and self sufficient. She sets a standard, not by words, but by her very presence. Her confidence demands that those around her step up, that they meet her on the same level of self respect and personal responsibility. It creates a dynamic where both partners grow and rise together, not because one needs the other to complete them, but because each person is already complete in their own right. However, self confident doesn't mean that a person is flawless or unshakable. In fact, it often requires confronting one's vulnerabilities head on. The confident person isn't afraid to admit when they're wrong or when they need help. They are not immune to doubts or insecurities, but they face those challenges with the courage to push forward, knowing that failure is a part of growth. It's the willingness to take risks, to step into the unknown, and to pursue your goals despite the inevitable obstacles that will arise along the way. It's this kind of strength, coupled with humility, that makes self confidence so powerful and attractive. Moreover, this level of self assurance doesn't just benefit the individual, it has a ripple effect on everyone around them. Men, in particular, are drawn to this because it provides them with an opportunity to evolve. They see in her a reflection of what they could be, someone who does not seek external validation, but instead looks inward to find their own strength and purpose. It's this sense of self reliance and self respect that builds the foundation for a healthy, thriving relationship. Self confidence is not about being perfect, but about being comfortable in your own skin. It is about knowing your value, understanding your worth, and refusing to let anyone or anything make you feel less than that. And when a woman exudes this kind of confidence, she does more than attract a man. She commands his respect, his admiration, and ultimately his deep affection. Ambition and independence are two qualities that, when combined, create an extraordinarily magnetic and compelling presence. They are not just attractive traits, but fundamental aspects of a person's character that can deeply influence the course of a relationship. When a woman is ambitious and independent, she is not only pursuing her own goals and desires, but is also shaping her own identity apart from any external validation. This level of autonomy and drive is profoundly appealing because it signals that she is not seeking someone to complete her, but rather to walk beside her on a shared journey. Ambition in this context is not just about achieving success in the traditional sense, be it professional success, financial success, or social recognition. It is about having a sense of purpose and a drive to achieve something meaningful, something that is truly important to you. A woman who is ambitious is someone who has a clear vision of what she wants out of life. and she is committed to making that vision a reality. There is a fire within her that propels her forward, a relentless pursuit of growth and achievement that is unshaken by obstacles or setbacks. This kind of ambition is inspiring. It draws others in because it demonstrates a level of discipline, focus, and resilience that is admirable. When a man witnesses this drive, he can't help but feel the pull of it, the desire to be near her, to support her, and to share in the journey. This drive and independence also make her a more interesting and engaging partner. A person who is constantly growing, constantly striving to improve themselves, brings an energy to the relationship that keeps it fresh and exciting. There is always something new to discuss, new ideas to explore, new challenges to face together. She is not content to sit idle and wait for life to happen. She is actively shaping her own future. This energy, this passion is magnetic, it's contagious. A man who is involved with such a woman is challenged to do the same in his own life. He is pushed to be better, to strive harder, and to take ownership of his own ambitions. But there's a paradox at play here. While independence is crucial, it doesn't mean that there is no room for connection or interdependence. The most successful and fulfilling relationships are those where both partners are capable and self-sufficient, yet choose to rely on each other in moments of need. Independence doesn't preclude intimacy, it enhances it. The strong, independent woman doesn't shut herself off from others. Instead, she understands that relationships are built on mutual respect, shared values, and the willingness to support one another in the pursuit of individual and collective goals. It is this balance that makes independence such an attractive quality. There's also something deeply empowering about seeing a woman who is ambitious and independent because it redefines the traditional notions of femininity. It demonstrates that strength, success, and self-sufficiency are not mutually exclusive with softness, compassion, and love. These qualities can coexist. A woman who is ambitious and independent can be nurturing and supportive. She can be both strong and gentle, fierce and loving. Her ability to balance these seemingly opposing forces is part of what makes her so captivating. She is multi-dimensional, a person who embodies complexity. And it is this complexity that draws people in, particularly men who are looking for something deeper, something more substantial than just superficial qualities. The truth is that ambition and independence are traits that make a woman not only attractive, but deeply respected. They are qualities that signify strength, self-respect, and an unwavering commitment to growth. Men are drawn to this because it challenges them to be better, to be more than they currently are. But it's also about the recognition that these qualities come with a sense of security. An ambitious, independent woman doesn't need someone to complete her. She simply wants someone to share in the journey of life. This creates a relationship where both individuals bring their full selves, where they challenge each other, support each other, and ultimately grow together. And that is what makes ambition and independence so powerfully attractive. There is a certain strength in grace, an elegance that comes from the ability to move through the world with a sense of purpose and poise. This grace is not just physical, it's an energy that emanates from a woman who understands herself and her place in the world. It's an embodiment of the balance between strength and softness, where one does not diminish the other, but rather enhances it. This kind of grace comes from inner confidence and the ability to navigate life with an open heart and mind without succumbing to the chaos and distractions that so often pull us in every direction. Grace is the ability to remain composed in difficult situations, to keep your calm and your dignity even when circumstances seem to demand otherwise. It is not the absence of struggle or hardship, but the way you carry yourself through those moments that reveals your true character. A woman who embodies grace doesn't let life's difficulties overwhelm her. She doesn't allow setbacks to define her or steal her peace. Instead, she faces adversity with a quiet strength, a sense of resilience that says, I will not be broken by this. There's a subtle power in this kind of grace. It's not the loud, aggressive kind of power that demands attention, but rather a more refined, understated kind of strength that draws people in without trying to. It's a quiet, unshakable confidence that says, I know who I am and I am comfortable in my skin. This is what makes it so magnetic. People are naturally drawn to those who can remain steady in the face of chaos. There's something calming about being in the presence of someone who isn't easily rattled by the turbulence of life. It makes them feel safe, secure, and understood. For men, grace is incredibly appealing because it represents a kind of maturity and emotional intelligence that is often rare. In a world that tends to value aggression and dominance, grace stands out as a reminder that strength doesn't always have to be loud or combative. There's a kind of wisdom in grace, a knowing that sometimes the best way to handle a situation is with patience, understanding, and composure. Men are drawn to this because it challenges the conventional view of what it means to be strong. They see in her an ability to handle conflict, uncertainty, and difficulty with a sense of poise that they themselves often struggle to maintain. It encourages them to approach life with more patience, more understanding, and a greater sense of emotional control. Grace also has a deeply nurturing quality. It's the ability to offer love and support in a way that feels effortless, as though it flows naturally from within. When a woman is graceful, she makes those around her feel valued, heard, and respected. There's an inherent warmth in her presence, a sense of acceptance and compassion that is not forced but genuine. She doesn't need to try to be kind or caring. It is part of who she is. This quality makes her incredibly attractive to men because it creates a sense of emotional safety. When a man feels heard and accepted for who he truly is, without judgment or expectation, he can be his most authentic self. He can relax, let down his guard, and feel the freedom to explore his own vulnerabilities. But grace is not just about being kind or calm in the face of adversity. It's also about maintaining a sense of self-respect and dignity. A graceful woman knows her worth, and she does not allow others to diminish it. She understands that true grace is rooted in self-respect, and that without it, she cannot give respect to others. This self-respect comes from a deep understanding of one's own value and boundaries. She knows when to stand firm, when to speak up, and when to walk away from situations that do not align with her values or her sense of self. This is a critical aspect of grace, knowing when to show vulnerability and when to show strength. It's the balance between asserting yourself and offering compassion. It's the understanding that grace does not mean weakness, and that sometimes the most graceful thing you can do is stand firm in your truth, even when it's difficult. In relationships, grace creates an environment of mutual respect and understanding. It allows both partners to bring their best selves to the table, knowing that they will be accepted and supported no matter what. A woman who embodies grace offers a kind of emotional stability that is invaluable in a partnership. She understands that relationships are not always easy, but she approaches them with a sense of patience and a commitment to understanding her partner's needs. She doesn't rush to judgment or react impulsively. Instead, she listens, reflects, and responds with consideration. This creates an atmosphere where both partners feel safe to express themselves honestly and openly, knowing that their emotions will be respected and acknowledged. Grace also plays a crucial role in how we interact with others beyond our immediate relationships. It's the ability to move through the world with kindness and respect, even in the face of adversity. It's the quiet strength that allows you to rise above petty disagreements, conflicts, and frustrations, and instead choose to engage with others from a place of compassion and understanding. A woman who embodies grace in her interactions with the world at large becomes a beacon of calm and positivity. She doesn't get caught up in the drama or negativity that often surrounds us. Instead, she chooses to remain centered and focused on what truly matters. This is an incredibly powerful energy to have in the world. It's the energy that inspires others to be better, to do better, and to treat each other with more kindness and respect. Grace is also deeply connected to personal growth. A woman who is graceful understands that she is a work in progress and that true strength comes from the ability to grow and learn from life's experiences. She doesn't see mistakes as failures, but as opportunities for growth. She doesn't dwell on the past, but moves forward with a sense of purpose and a commitment to becoming the best version of herself. This growth mindset is part of what makes her so appealing. It shows that she is not only dedicated to her own personal development, but also to the development of her relationships, her career, and her life. She is constantly evolving, always striving to improve, and always seeking to create a life that is meaningful and fulfilling. In relationships, grace allows for the creation of a strong foundation. It's the quiet strength that holds everything together when the world outside feels chaotic. It's the ability to stay grounded and centered, even when circumstances try to pull you off course. A woman who embodies grace brings this stability into her relationships, creating an environment where both partners can thrive. She offers support, love, and understanding, not out of obligation, but from a place of genuine care and compassion. This is the kind of energy that draws people in and makes them want to stay.